Thanks for tuning in. This is Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the new TakaraTomy Transformers Masterpiece MP-33 Inferno. For the package, you got a very standard Masterpiece box with images of both the robot mode and vehicle mode for Inferno, and you can see that he is an official Fuso T951 fire truck. The side of the box here features an image of his fire truck mode as well as an action shot in his robot form. Then on the back of the package, you got a whole bunch of read-ups which I cannot read, as well as several different product shots. One thing that I'll say about this is this guy is really loaded with a lot of playability and a ton of accessories to kind of customize your look for Inferno. But we'll get into more of that later on. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Inferno opened up out of its packaging and obviously here in his fire truck mode. Now, with a lot of competition facing Takara nowadays, they really need to make sure that they nail the figures that they produce. And while Inferno isn't a character that was really all that major in the original G1 series, he's definitely a fan favorite and was part of the Generation 1 crew, so naturally we're going to get a Masterpiece version of him. And I honestly do think that this could be one of the best Masterpiece figures that Takara has made to date. The engineering on this is really very good. Now, starting out first with his accessories, much like all Masterpiece figures, he does come with a very nice instruction sheet that gives you kind of a read-up on his Mitsubishi fire truck. You got images of the front, top, side, all that kind of stuff. You have a bit of a read-up here of Inferno himself with those same kind of turnaround images. Then you also do have, again, very classic to the Masterpiece line, a breakdown of all of his accessories and where they actually kind of come from in the various scenes in the actual cartoon, which is really nice. And then on the back of it are just the instructions, which are fairly easy to follow. Very nice, large, bold print, so you shouldn't have really any problems. But if you do, hey, obviously, you have me. In addition to that, you also do get his collector card with a really cool artistic image of Inferno, both in his robot and fire truck mode. On the back, you have a read-up on him with images of his robot in fire truck mode, and then you have his tech specs down here. You also do get some alternate stickers. You got some fire department ones here that would go on the side, and then you got some alternate Autobot logos. The reasoning is because you also do get two front sections here. One is more kind of toy-based with the chrome, and then you can see that you got a different kind of Autobot logo there. That's very similar to the Autobot logo that's right here on the bottom right. But then you also do get a replacement chest that allows you to replace this to create more of an actual cartoon look. And you can see that Autobot logo is a little bit different than the one you have here. So what you can do with these stickers is, say you like this actual Grille section, but you don't like that Autobot logo. You can put that top one here over that, and vice versa with the actual cartoon sort of front. So it's cool that they give you options, but like I said, I probably am not going to use these. If anything, I would probably use the fire department logo, but for me, it's really not that big a deal. Now, as I showed you, do get that cartoon accurate front grille section. You also get another one that has these little support sections on here. This is actually specifically designed to hold Red Alert, which was a hilarious scene in the original G1 cartoon. It happened one time, but the fact that they include this is really cool. I could totally see a lot of people actually displaying their Inferno on Red Alert with this, and I'll show how to actually use that here in a little bit. You also do get a fire hose, which was used in one scene where he would go around kind of hosing things down, and then it also did come to life, and it actually attacked his face. And you can actually open it up, and you can see you got some little teeth marks in there. So that's kind of funny. You got a very nice, rubber hose for it. So again, a very limited accessory, but it's still a fairly rememberable one, so it's cool that they include that. You also do get this water effect. It's going to be fairly hard to see. I'll just use my hand here. You can see it is clear, and then you got some nice white sections down here, but really cool detail on there, giving it a very nice splash kind of effect, and I dig that. And that can be used both in his fire truck mode and robot mode, and I'll show that here as well. You also do get a replacement water hose hand. He comes with a chrome one, which we'll see, but using this for display purposes, you can see that you can just just peg that on there and you can have that water blasting from the actual hose. And I actually like how it goes past the top of the nozzle, kind of giving it like it's a full-on spray sort of effect. I really do dig that. But you do have options. Again, this is a little bit more cartoon accurate than the chrome one, which is more toy accurate. You also do get two, I guess they're wrist communicators. I honestly don't remember these. They're on different angles. One kind of angled like this, where it's going to be facing a little bit more back, and then one that's kind of straight on, so it's a personal preference. These can actually store in robot mode, which is cool. But again, I really don't care too much for these. It's a nice addition, and I love the fact that we're getting all these different accessories, but for me, that's not going to really do too much. But you also do get a replacement helmet, as well as a few different faces. You get a total of 4 faces. One that's currently on him, and then you get one here that's actually kind of smiling. And then you get 2 other ones that work with the other helmet specifically, mostly because you can see it's got this little lip here on the edge. Either way, you get like this one where he's kind of angry and yelling kind of face. Like I said, you get one where he's smiling, but you can see this is a little bit different of a shape. It doesn't have those little edges. I really like that face as well. And then you just get one that's just kind of him staring out and nothing. But I really do like this helmet. Sometimes in the cartoon, Inferno kind of looked like he had Grapple's head, and that's what this kind of replicates. But I actually do prefer this over the one that's on there. Again, it's all just a matter of personal preference, but I love the fact that they give you those kind of options. Now, he also does come with a handgun. You can see it stores right in here. You got a little tab section that grooves in right here in the middle, and his little fire hose thing. This can actually peg on here as well if you wanted to have him blasting it from the actual gun. But if you do want to store this, you just come around here to this section, you just bring this in, and then the actual clip right here is what actually tabs in there. So you just bring that in, slot that in, and it locks into place very nicely. One other kind of accessory, I guess, could be a part that's actually attached to it here. It's a little bit tricky to get to, but you just pull this piece out, slide this forward. This is a little bit tricky for me to do because, again, no fingernails. There we go. So you can slide that out like so, and then this piece actually folds back like that, and then you have this section that can actually fold out. You can close that, and you got a little kind of nozzle on the end here. It's just a little teeny tiny sort of thing, nothing terribly bad or overly detailed. You got a nice silver paint on there, but again, you can actually take the little water effect, plug it in there, and then again, and you're not going to be able to see any of it because, yeah, white on a white background. I know, use a different color background. Yeah. But you can see what's going on here, so you can do that, which I think is cool. Obviously, you need to have some kind of a hose system on a fire truck, so I mean that's neat that you can do that. So that's actually really very cool. Like I said, lots of accessories, and then you can collapse that back down. So lots of things to kind of customize and make this guy look how you want him to. Now, coming in to take a closer look at the vehicle mode, as you can see, it actually looks pretty good. I mean, it could potentially look a little bit better here with some of the gaps and such, but all in all, I don't think it really looks all that bad. And it definitely looks like a fire truck that kind of has, you know, some like equipment or something back there. So I dig it. You come around here to the top section. I do kind of wish that these were actually painted silver. I mean, as it is, they're just molded red, which it's fairly accurate, but it's just a personal kind of preference of sorts. You can see he's got his the sirens here at the top. One thing that's interesting is that the windows are all frosted. That's kind of strange. I would imagine the reason that they went for that is to kind of hide the inside, which works. It definitely does it. Like I said, you got that very nice chrome detail here, which does replicate, you know, the G1 toy very nicely. You come around here to the side, you have these little posts here and here. Now, these pieces here actually have a bit of a pearlescent color to it, which looks really very nice. Whereas you can see this is a molded white piece. That paint that they actually used here has a nice shimmer to it. I also really like the detail that they have here in the tires. These are plastic tires, which I do prefer. I know some people like the actual rubber ones, but I think in terms of durability and longevity, these are much nicer to have. I like how the rims are actually painted red. You got the little silver bits there. These pieces here that I was talking about can actually extend out and can slide down. So when you have it like that, you can kind of pretend like he's doing the, you know, whole fire truck thing where he needs to have, you know, a good kind of balance on him, which is really nice. So you can collapse those up. I do like that added kind of realism to it. The actual ladder here does have a nice ratchet. It goes up and down. It can go all the way up that far, and it can extend about that far as well. You can collapse it as well. I mean, I'm not going to push all the way in because I'll lose it. Now, that's part of the transformation, but I don't think you necessarily have to have it all the way out like that. You can just leave it in like that, which now I'm going to have a hard time getting that back out, so, well, no, I'm just going to leave it there. But the overall detail on here, like I said, very simple. There's not a lot of detail, and I think that's one thing that people kind of complain about. They want more detail in it. I honestly don't mind it because, for me, Masterpiece figures, and I think that's what they're going for, is recreating a very smooth kind of cartoon animation look. So all those extreme details and panel lines and things that other third-party companies do with their figures isn't really cartoon accurate. The figures look good and they're nice updates, but for a cartoon representation, I think this guy nails it nicely. Now for some other Masterpiece figure comparisons, here he is next to Ironhide and Optimus Prime, and just kind of getting him out there, you can just see the overall size. I do like how Inferno here is a bigger figure. You can see that Ironhide in terms of vehicle compress is fairly small. Now Inferno probably should be a little bit bigger because he's a fire truck, but I don't think it's really out of scale too much from like Optimus Prime. I think that works pretty decently. So in terms of the size form, I think they did a really very good job of giving us what works best. And then for another comparison, here he is next to his buddy Red Alert. Now this is the original one. It's not the anime color one. That's more white and everything. But again, you can see size-wise just how big this Inferno figure actually is. And again, I think that the scale nicely complements one another. And because why not, here he is next to his original G1 self. And again, you can see where those sort of toy elements actually come through, like with the chrome and everything. You got that Autobot logo. You can come around here to the side, and you can even see that with the original G1 toy, you have all that kind of gapping and everything around the side. So I mean, it actually fills in a little bit better here with the Masterpiece one, I think. But you got the little front section right here, which is the top of his shoulders. That's right there. Obviously, his hands and everything come down here. That's the same thing that you had down here. You got the little kind of stabilizer bit right there. Again, you do have that fire department sticker on the side here of the G1 toy. Like I said, I might put it on, I might not, I don't know. One thing that I do kind of wish that they actually did was back here you got this little chrome section right here. I kind of wish that they actually put that right on the back here. That would have been a nice little touch. Just to kind of put some more color in here as it is. But for what it is, I think that it looks really good. It's a very nice update to both the G1 toy and obviously the animation. Now, like I said, the transformation is actually pretty cool. The engineering on it is really very nice, especially here with the actual ladder. So first, lift that up. Go ahead and remove this. I should have mentioned that this doesn't actually rotate, but all it does is go up and down. It doesn't spin, which does kind of stink, but whatever. Come around here to the wheels. First, you actually have to take these and kind of pull them away. They kind of tab up into this red section, so just slowly pull that back just like so, and then angle them out just like that. Come around here to the side. These little pieces here then tuck in. It's a little bit tricky to get into, but tuck those little pieces in. Do that on both sides just like so. Come around here to the top. You can take this, open this piece up, and come around here to these back sections. Pull this away from the actual main body itself. Do that on this side as well, and that should loosen all this up. Pull this apart, and that should kind of let you hinge that down like that. Then you can actually take this, accordion this down, fold this whole thing down, and then take this piece, and this is actually really very, very cool to do. You actually take this, fold this down, and kind of straighten that up, fold this all the way down, and then tuck this in on itself. That'll actually push this little piece out here in the back, but that collapses very nicely. It looks great when you actually get it all up in there. Come around here to these arm sections, like I said, keep these out just like so, and then lift this back a little bit, and then you can put your finger in this top section, rotate this bit around, and then you can spin this whole section around and pull his head out. Then when you're done, you can rotate this and get that like that, rotate these little pieces around just to get them out of the way, and then you can spin the head around like so. Come around here to these arms, rotate these around just like that. Do that on this side as well. And then this actually gets kind of interesting. You pull these pieces out, and it takes a little bit of like rotating and stuff. So you just spin this around, and then line this up, and then you can see when you get it in a proper kind of configuration like this where it's on an angle, this whole section right here slots in here perfectly. I mean, everything is lined up just ideally, and you just bring that in, give that a nice little push, actually bend it at the elbow, push it all the way in, and it locks in perfectly. So again, do that on this side as well. Come up a little bit. You want to rotate this around, angle this. It does take some like finesse in rotating this around the right way. So rotate that around and then bring that up and collapse this in just like so. Really very cool how that transforms as well. Then you can take this back section, lift this whole thing up, or well, just kind of leave that there. Get these arms out of the way. Swivel these legs down just like so, keeping the actual waist section in place, and then you can bring this whole section back, and there's going to be like an accordion that brings it back like so. When you have it in that position, kind of lock it into place, then you can tuck this up and bring it up into the back section very nicely. Keep the little head bit right there, and then bringing this up, this will tab into place, kind of locking everything in there, and that is brilliant. I absolutely love that. Take these little pieces here, rotate these out, and tuck them on the back. Come around here to this section right here. This little piece right here, this is a little bit tricky to see, but you got a little slot on the inside here that actually grooves onto a peg right there. So bring that up and lock that into place right there. Do that on this side as well. Angle this up, find that groove, push that in, that locks that into place, and then make sure this stays collapsed down. Come around here to the legs. These are really very simple and cool too. You just rotate this around, tuck this piece down, put that all the way in the bottom. That fills in very nicely. Rotate this back section, take this, accordion this out, tab that in like so. So again, rotate this around. If that was out, fold that in. Rotate that, hinge this piece out and then down. Then you actually take these little pieces here, these little round sections, and they angle out a little bit. So you have it pushed in like that, just push that, just to kind of give it some symmetry. Rotate that down, rotate that, make sure, let's see, the head detached, keep that right there. Come up to the top, then you just swivel these pieces out on the side, kind of hinge that down, straighten out his head, and there you have Inferno in his robot mode. And this guy turned out absolutely terrific. As I mentioned, there is a lot of competition out there for Takara, and they really have to put their best effort forward every single time. And with Inferno here, I absolutely feel that they did. The look here in robot mode is absolutely what I would want in a masterpiece Inferno. Vehicle mode, you know, there are some gaps and things like that. It's not 100%, but this really does come together very nicely. And one of the best aspects is how clean this guy actually looks. He has no ladder. The engineering on this is outstanding. I love this figure. Now, as much as I do love the figure, I'm also a huge slave to the way that the cartoon looked. I really do appreciate the toy aesthetic that this does give you, but the cartoon is for me. And that's honestly what I look at the Masterpiece line for. So all these extra accessories that you get that allow you to make this a little bit more, cartoon accurate, is amazing. So you got this little replacement nozzle. All you have to do is you just pull this off. You got that very nice chrome one. They're basically the exact same. You just got different colors, obviously. And then you got the prong right here. You just kind of find that proper sort of lock, and then you have that look right there, which again looks great. The chest piece here, which again looks really good, but you can see there is a very big difference in how the overall design is. The cartoon version doesn't have these little turn signals, doesn't have the detail in the grille. It has much larger headlight sort of things. Obviously no chrome. All you do for that is you just wedge a fingernail in there. Yeah, Optibotimus with fingernails. Nope. Alright, let's see. I got like one on my pinky, kind of. So, yeah, there we go. Oh, look, that actually worked. So, you take that out. I mean, really great detail, though, but you can also see it doesn't have the windshield wipers. So, again, people probably like this because there's a little bit more detail. I just like that cartoon look. So, putting that on there, I really do think that looks better. It's just, again, it's a personal preference kind of thing. Obviously, you have his hose that you could have him hold it. Again, it was in one scene of the cartoon where the thing came to life, and honestly, I barely remember, and it like attacked his face, and it went crazy. Ah, get out of my face! So you can do that if you want to. You have that. You do have the water effect. Again, that works very much the same as all the other ones when you plug it in here, so you do have that water effect going on there. It also can attach to his little nozzle right up on there. Like I was talking about, you have the swappable faces and things of that nature. Again, I really do like the face on this. It's just that I just seem to like this a little bit more. So to actually replace that, literally all you do is just kind of hinge this out. The whole head is on a separate kind of sliding sort of hinge. You just pull this off like so, and then you can take this and you can just slide that back on there, and you can have that on his face if you really wanted to. Again, personal preference kind of thing. Or maybe you don't want that face. You can take that off. Oh, the whole thing just came off. And then, let's see, maybe you want the happy face, and you got that real great detail on there as well. It just has a little hole and a little peg right here. You just kind of fit that on there, and that kind of is very awkward. Just floating face. So you can do that, and then you can put this on there as well. Just slide that in there, and now you have a very happy looking Inferno, which works. I like that. A happy Inferno is, I mean, he's a very happy-go-lucky kind of character, so it works for me. Maybe you want to put the angry face on there. So tab that on, have that little face plate. Let's see. Well, that's a little bit tricky to get on there. There we go. Well, will that fit? Oh, that actually might not fit on there. That's a little unfortunate. I thought maybe you could do it. Maybe if I go like that and slide it in. I don't know if you can get the angry face on there with that helmet. These, I think some of them are actually designed for the actual helmet that it comes with. So I think, yeah, because you can kind of see the actual helmet here. The top section, it's very flat across the actual top. There's no angle, but whereas this one, you can see has that little kind of section that sticks out. So this face with the angry face only works with this helmet, and then you have this angry, or just a stoic kind of face that works for this. So that's kind of unfortunate that you can't put like the smiley face on here. That does kind of stink. But this helmet fits with the smiling face, and then this regular face. So again, personal preference, I guess, but does kind of stink that you can't actually use all the faces for all the different helmets. I wish they actually did that. That kind of stinks, but that still looks cool. That's going to be my preferred look for him. So honestly, it's going to come down to how Grapple looks, because obviously this is going to be repainted and remolded to give us Grapple. We've already seen the pictures for that and everything, so we know that it's coming. So it may turn out that I like this on Grapple, so I might actually put this one back on here. It's going to depend when I get that. The best, though, is obviously this. Now, like I said, one scene when Red Alert basically was kind of a whiny little baby and got trapped in a building and Inferno had to save him. He pulls him out, has him kind of dangling on his fire truck mode, then he transforms and he's actually holding Red Alert in his arms. Now, to do that, go ahead, pull this off. It does have the cartoon look on here. Just put that on there just like so, and you got like a little cradle kind of thing. Kind of get the arms out of the way like that, and bring in Red. Now, you kind of have to position these arms a little bit to kind of get them out of the way and everything. Have them like have one arm wrapped around the back, but you can actually see that this section right here in the bottom is actually where the siren here goes. So it just fits right there, and then you have this little section right here that kind of holds his leg. And you can see what's happening. So you just put that there, have that arm underneath there, and look, you can actually have Inferno carrying around Red, and I think that's hilarious. Now, one thing that I actually also really like is the ratchet joints on Inferno are really very strong. So as you can see, it holds them perfectly fine, and that is, like I said, something that I could honestly see a lot of collectors displaying. That is just really very cool how they did it. I mean, yeah, obviously you see the clear thing, but it doesn't look that bad honestly, and you can just position the leg and kind of manipulate things to get it looking a little bit better. You just got to futz around with it, but it's great. And then you got the smile on there. That just works. Everything about that is one of the greatest accessories that Takara has ever given us. It really does work for both of these characters. A very funny scene, like I said, and doing a comparison right away, just because obviously he's here, you can see that the Inferno is actually a fairly large figure. I'll bring out the other ones, but you can see by comparison to one of the Masterpiece cars, he's pretty big, and he should be. The character was a fairly large character anyhow, but it definitely looks really good together. And then for comparison, Optimus Prime, as you can see, he is smaller, which is accurate. He should be. One thing that I do find is kind of funny is that he's actually taller a little bit than Ironhide. So bringing in old Ironhide, getting him standing up nice and straight, you can see that Ironhide was one of the larger ones, and he's actually now smaller than Inferno, which I don't remember if that was how it was in the cartoon. But overall, I think that the scale works pretty good. And then for another comparison, here he is next to his G1 self. And you can see the G1 did have a lot more, sticker detail and things like that. So I could see where people would complain because this doesn't have that. But seeing how this is meant to look like the cartoon, I'm okay with it. There are elements on this that do translate over here, like with the actual hose arm, the chrome, things like that you can replace, which I think works. Now for some of his other accessories, like I said, he comes with these little pieces which are meant to be like little communicators. All you do is you come around here and you got the little post right here that you just take this and you slot that in right in there to get in. Well, that doesn't work very well. So we're going to slot that one in. So you can have him kind of looking at a communicator, which, okay, sure. I don't care really all that much, to be totally honest. But see, keep detaching this. Maybe it's just because I keep fiddling with this arm. I don't keep playing with this one. But one thing that you can do is actually open this up, and on the inside down here are little slots that you can take this, and you can fit this in there if you really wanted to. You can do that with this one as well. Let's see. Actually, this looks cut. That's strange looking. I have no idea why it's like that. Maybe it's not supposed to actually be on an angle. That's very, very strange. So you can put them in there, and you can actually rotate this up, and it can actually store right there perfectly fine. So you can leave that in there as a weapon storage. One thing that you could also do, much like the G1 toy, you can swap out the hands on different ones. So you can actually do that with this. You have a hand that's built in here. So all you have to do, and there you go. Oh, well, or just pull that off if you really wanted to. Put that in there, rotate that around, and you can tuck that up. And you can give them both hands if you really wanted. I don't really care. I don't like that particular look because he should have the little hose thing on his hand. That's what I like. So I like that. It gives you the option to do that. I think that's a nice little touch. It's a little bit finicky to get that in there, but rotating that around, like I said, you don't necessarily have to do it, but it's an option for you, and you don't have to tuck these away when you transform it or anything, so it doesn't really matter. And then obviously he also does come with his just regular handgun. Probably not going to use this all that much because he's got that, and you got the little tab that so you can do something like that if you really wanted, but I don't really mind him just having a fist and that gun, so that works for me. Now for his articulation, he's very well articulated for a figure that's as bulky as he kind of is. I love the fact that this entire section here rotates. That's absolutely how it should be. When in the cartoon he would completely turn all that box around to look around. But what's also great is the head itself is on a separate ball joint, so you can actually pivot this up and down. You can make it move left and right. You can also rotate that some so you can get it turning around and looking like that without fully rotating the head. I think that's a great addition. This little nozzle right here, you can rotate this up and everything. The shoulders here can get in the way of, or the rotation for the shoulder can be limited when you have these little pieces right here because, oh, look, that's in trouble. but you know, it gets out of the way. It hinges in and out very nicely on some ratchet joints. You've got a swivel here at the upper part of the bicep. You have a elbow joint that rotates very nicely. You can get a very good range of motion actually with it. Oh, did I detach that? Yes, I did. So good range of motion there. The wrists do rotate around. They can move up and down a little bit just because there's a little swivel there. As I showed you, the fingers are articulated. You just got that one trigger finger that's kind of positioned outwards a little bit, so that's kind of weird, but you do have that range of motion with the fingers. He does rotate at the waist a little, but some of this stuff does kind of get in the way, so you can rotate him, but all this stuff kind of hinders a little bit of it, so kind of be careful when you're doing it, but you can kind of pivot it around. You can lift this piece, I'm sorry, that entire section here on a heavy-duty ratchet rotates forward and back. You can move it in and out very nicely. He rotates at the upper part of the thigh. He bends here at way more than 90 degrees here at the knee itself, and then the ankles move in and out very, very nicely. They move forward and back a little bit as well. Kind of gets in the way with this little piece, but you can see that that little bottom section actually goes down under the foot, so you can move that forward and back fairly decently. So lots of range of motion with the guy for some really good poses. And like I said, the ratchet joints here in his legs are really very sturdy, which is great, especially if you're going to have him holding red alert. You really want to have very sturdy hips for that, because you don't want them falling over or anything like that. So very glad to see that they actually have that. Great articulation, great range of motion in them, and the joints that he does have are very, very solid. Now to transform them, first kind of get these arms lifted up out of the way. These little round sections here, you want to make sure that you push them in on both sides. Then come around to the outer side of his leg, lift these pieces up and hinge them up on the top portion of the actual legs, just like so. Then come around here to the little heel section, fold this out, bring the actual foot piece around like that, and then rotate the wheels all the way around, then kind of straighten them out just like that. Do that on this side as well. Pull this out, pull the actual bottom section out, and then rotate that around like that. Get these lifted up, kind of get those out of the way. It don't really matter. You can rotate those all the way around like so. Come around here to the actual wheels. You had those tabbed in along the side. I should actually have mentioned that these actually flex down. I completely forgot about that, but you want to make sure you push those back up when you're transforming them into his actual truck mode. Get these pieces, detach these, and swivel those out so they're kind of angled off just like that. Do that on this side as well. Then you can actually take this entire back section, pull this all the way out, and then just kind of straighten it out like so. This whole section here then you can detach that, but to get this all collapsed in, you want to then rotate these legs up, keeping the waist piece in the forward position. So you just lift these legs up, kind of get those into position just like so. Kind of keep that spread out just a little bit so that you can fit this piece down, leave that up. And then on the inside here, you have a little slot right there that's going to slot into that little groove. So just bring that down and push that in like that. Do that on the opposite side as well. You don't want to push those all the way in just yet because you have to put the hands in there. So bring that there, and then right up here, this little knob is going to push down on little pegs. So if you have it properly lined up, it should just go there automatically. So once you have that done, come around here to the front section. You can then just hinge this all the way down like so. Just get that kind of out of the way. Go ahead, take the head. This part can be a little bit tricky to do, but you just go around slowly and you'll be able to do it. Lift that up, lift this forward, lift this forward, and then you have to rotate this whole thing down. So just kind of put it like that. Then that's just kind of getting it ready to go. Detach the arms and rotate these around. Then you got these little pieces right here that are going to slot in here. So just bring that around, kind of hinging everything, and line that up just like so. Straighten out the arms like that. So now you have the arms in the proper position. Do that on this side as well. Pull that out from the body. Rotate this whole section, flip it around. Rotate this around, and come in. There we go. Bring that up and around, lining that up and tabbing that into place just like so. Straighten out the arms, and then you can bring these down. Bring this hinge section, get this kind of out of the way. Make sure that, keep that like that. Rotate that out, get that out of the way like that. All right, now we're going to spin these around, keep that out of the way. Spin that around like so, keep that out.
spin this around, keep that head out of the way, spin that around. If that detached, just kind of push that back in the little slot right there. It's not that big of a deal right now. So get that out of the way, and then you can hinge this entire section down. Now you got little holes on the underside, you can even see it, like on the underside here, that are actually going to tab into these pieces. So make sure you line that up and look, keep that out, and then you bring that down and just kind of look to make sure that that's in the proper spot. It should be, if you have everything lined up properly, it should be a fairly easy sort of lineup where all you do is just put it into that spot. So bring that down and then keep these out. Rotate the head, and then you have to really push this all the way down so that you can get this inside here. So make sure that that's pushed in. And then when you get the clearance, you can push it all the way down, rotate this section up, and cover that right there. Tab this piece in along the side like that. Come around here to the front, reach in here, pull these little side panels out like that. Do that on this side as well, and then make sure that these little pieces are pushed forward, and then bring these tires around, and you got a little notch right up in there that you want to slot this up into. So hinge this in where it should actually be, and then slide it forward just a little bit, and then make sure everything is squared off and pegged in there nicely. Then you can take this section, unfurl this, fold this out like so. You can then extend this entire piece just like that, fold that down. You can take this little back section here, you actually tuck that up in a little bit, and then these little pieces right here, push those in, and those lock in along the side. And when you're done, there you have Inferno back in his fire truck mode. One thing that I actually just noticed is you can actually fold this piece in. This little piece, it has a separate little swivel right here. So when I had it before, you can actually put it like that, or keeping this back, pulling this piece back out, you can actually hinge it kind of underneath so that it comes through the actual front of it, which looks a lot better. I think that's pretty cool looking, and it gives it more of that classic kind of look. But I really do like the way that this guy turned out. Like I said, I honestly do feel like the engineering on this is the best that we've gotten. The fact that they were able to take this entire ladder, have it collapse, and completely disappear in robot mode is fantastic. So I got to give Takara a lot of credit for doing that. In general, like I said, while the actual fire truck mode is, a little bit gappy, I don't think it really looks all that bad. And when you compare it to how the original G1 toy looked, it's a nice evolution and actually closes in a lot of the gaps a lot better. Robot mode, though, looks absolutely spectacular. The inclusion of different pieces that allow you to actually make it look like either the toy or the cartoon is a wonderful touch. This guy comes with a lot of accessories that really enhance the playability and different posing options that you can put this guy in. I have said it a couple times already that with the competition that TakaraTomy does face, they really do have to step up and have their A effort every single time they release a figure. And without question, I think they nailed it with this guy. So all that being said, if this is a figure that you'd like to add to your collection, he will be available fairly soon at various online retailers, including the folks at Big Bad Toy Store. So all you have to do for that is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to BBTS, where you can check out availability on this guy, as well as the rest of their wide range of Masterpiece figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget that if you like this video, to please like and share it. It goes a long way towards helping me out. Also, be sure to subscribe in case you haven't already subscribed. That way you get instant email notifications whenever I upload a new video, and you never miss out on a future review of mine. Or if you're already subscribed, be sure to click on that little bell on my homepage, and double check to make sure your settings are set so that you get those email notifications. And as always, until next time, be excellent to each other.